I've been running for too long, but your love keeps calling me home. Been running away from you, forgetting your love is true. I chased the wind, I fought the tide, lost myself on the other side. Round and
So, Miss
round
Summer, how are you doing
circles.
today?
I am great. Excellent, in fact.
Awesome.
This is surreal for me.
All right. So, you lived in Guyana and Trinidad. To be honest, who has the best street food?
Who has the best street
Now, be
food?
careful.
Hey, I know I will get crucified by some of my Trini friends.
Yes.
I will say, I wouldn't be biased, right? I will say we do because there's a bit more variety. Trinis have a particular twist. Okay, so for example, like when we're eating pulari, we would use sour, right? Which is sour, the mango sour. We would also use like cucumbers and other things.
Yeah.
But the Trinis, theirs is sweet instead. I think we have a little bit more variety, but Trini nothing easy, you know. They ain't nothing to play with. They top tier too.
Okay, so I noticed you didn't answer the question, but we'll pass. Very diplomatic. So, you said music has been your heartbeat.
Yes, it has.
If music were an actual person in your life, how would you describe the relationship? Is it more as like a best friend or a therapist?
I would say it's a mix of both, a best friend and a therapist. Why? Because this might sound crazy and maybe a person may not believe, but I started writing music when I was 10 years old. We moved from Guyana to Trinidad when I was like around 9, 10, and I came back here only like about 3 to 4 years ago. So I spent the majority of my life overseas. And moving at such a young age, leaving your family and leaving your friends was kind of hard for me. And then too, my parents didn't really have such a good relationship, and the quarreling and stuff like that used to kind of flow over to us. So I used music as a cushion to help survive that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's therapeutic, and it's also like your best friend.
Okay. Never had any falling out with music?
No, honestly, no, because like for me, when you say I take up that mic, or let's say I'm just singing and you hit a certain note, to me it feels like I'm releasing whatever was weighing me down and I just feel lighter. So to say I've ever had a falling out with music, nah, can't say that.
Okay.
Can't say that.
All right. Congrats on your degree.
Thank you very much.
Which is tougher, acing the finals in dietetics or finding the perfect rhyme for planting?
Planting.
What word
my
rhyme with
gosh.
planting?
I think it's hard to find the rhyme for planting.
Okay.
Planting, fountain,
Okay. How about orange?
orange, syringe.
I've been running for too long.
You've performed
Mercy
since
made a way
at schools,
Yes.
in talent shows.
Yes.
What was one performance back then that still makes you cringe?
What's one performance that still makes me cringe, boy? Give me a minute.
And we could get back to that.
Okay.
What was the one performance that you did that made you said, okay, yes, I'm really gonna be doing this?
Good. I'm glad you asked that question. So when I was 16, prior to that, I used to sing in church, right? But I only used to sing because they asked me to, right? So my spiritual relationship wasn't that strong as yet with God, right? I always stuck to my morals and stuff like that. But I guess I just wasn't as grounded just yet. So I remember I was asked to sing at a music day in our church, Southeast Port of Spain, big up. So everybody had to do their own little piece, and I sang Mercy Said No. And at the end of it, Sister Arlene, she came to me with tears in her eyes, and how she expressed herself, it was like, wow, boy, you're really doing something. And it's like the vibe that I got from the church, not just the vibe, but the feedback. Because for me personally, yes, I appreciate the compliments. It's not just about like, sounding good and stuff like that. It's about actually ministering to people. When people could say, girl, you touch my soul. Like I felt like heaven, or like those type of things makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing, because anybody could sound good. Okay, maybe not anybody, but plenty of people could sound good, right? But to be able to actually minister to people's souls and to their hearts is something totally and completely different. So that was my moment where I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Definitely doing this.
Yeah, I see that one kind of raise you up from your seat.
Yes, I have to, I have to reserve for that one.
All right. So I was reading your bio and it says you call music your sanctuary.
Yeah.
Can you describe that moment, recent or past, when music saved you from a tough time?
Yes, 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 yes. So like around the age of 14 to 18, I was I was heavily depressed, and apart from comfort eating, I used music as a stronghold or as a backup plan. So what I would do sometimes is that I would be in like a crowd with different people, and I would literally sneak away from the crowd to go to some room by myself where I could literally just sing as loud as I wanted to. And then you might hear persons coming around and stuff like that. I remember specifically I was in USC at time, and I was at this, each degree has a school in USC. So I was at the music building, and I went into one of the rooms and I locked the door and I started singing Demi Lovato, You Don't Do It For Me Anymore. And it had a really nice acoustic, so it made your voice, it amplified your voice without any type of software, effects of any sort. And it sounded so beautiful, and then I started to hear like little whispers like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And then you kind of like, when you realize person's listening to you, you're gonna try to simmer down a little bit. But yeah, I would say that music has always been that crutches for me, if you want to put it that way.
Cause even in my worst mistakes, your mercy made a way. How in your love certain, love circle, no end, no start. You're the beat of my heart. Grace unbroken, arms wide open. You pulled me in a way that I was falling. How in your love certain, love circle. I thought I could earn.
All right.
the
So
light.
when you write your original music, your songs, what inspires you? What gives you, the motivation to do this and
Okay.
help the lyrics to flow?
Well,
Your creative juices, some people say.
all right. Well, for me, I can get music based off of anything. I could even sit down and say, all right, I want to write a song, and I want to write a song about this, and I can sit and do it like that. Sometimes I would be sleeping, and in my sleep, I'm hearing the entire song with music and everything, and I'll get up out of my sleep, I'll take my phone, and I'll record the tune. So when I get up later on, I would write out the entire song. So there's no specific inspiration for me. I can be inspired by anything. It doesn't have to be anything, particular or major. But pain, when I am in pain, or if I'm hurt, or if I'm depressed, I think I produce my best then, because it's more relatable as opposed to just sitting down and making up stuff. It'll be more relatable for people.
Yes. The singer Adele once said that that's how she gets her best songs.
Ah,
But I know you were into gospel music.
Right,
So the
right.
inspiration is different. Let's say
Definitely.
your debut album drops tomorrow. What would it be called? And expound on the title a little, please.
So if my debut album was to be dropped tomorrow, I would call it Jesus Save Me. Why? Because there's a song that I wrote about going into 7 years ago by that same title, Jesus Save Me. And it was written in a time where I was probably at my lowest, in my darkest of eras. Real dark. And in the lyrics of the song, it kind of briefly depicts what I was going through at that period of time in my life. So I would name it Jesus Save Me,
Okay.
because I needed him to save me in that moment.
Amazing, amazing.
So for me, when I look at music, I don't see it as being something for me to necessarily get rich off of or becoming, super hyped or whatever. For me, I see it as ministry. I've always seen it as ministry, and I I tend to take a step back and like make a conscious decision to humble myself that it's not about you. You're a vessel, and God is using you. So when you're finished and you do whatever you do, however good you do it, all the honor, the glory, and the praise belongs to God. In terms of a of a Grammys, I'm not really interested in that. Honest to God, I'm not interested in that. Like if I become famous, I wanna become famous for doing this, because your music would have touched persons. So persons I would have looked up to would have been like Cissy Winans, phenomenal woman. Sandy Patty. Oh my gosh, this woman I used to look forward to waking up on a Saturday morning growing up to listen to that woman, and BJ Thomas. I wanted to marry BJ Thomas actually, but I think I was born a little too late. I missed him by a
Okay.
yes.
Love Circle, that's a snippet from Love Circle. That is your soon-to-be released single. Tell us a
Yes.
little about Love Circle. What does it do for you, and what message you like your listeners to get from that wonderful track, I should say?
Wonderful indeed, because Love Circle for me reminds me a lot of Jesus Save Me, as I would have mentioned before, because what it's talking about is the structure of God's love. God's love is like a circle. It has no beginning, it has no ending. Unlike us, God's love is not conditional. It's not like I love you today and I hate you tomorrow because you did something that upset me. You understand? So Love Circle is basically talking about God's love. It's unconditional. It has no start. It has no beginning. There's nothing that could make him love you less. He would always love you more. You understand? His love is never ending and it's unchanging.
No end, no start. You're the beat of my heart. Grace unbroken, arms wide open. You pulled me in when I was falling. How in your love certain, love circle. I thought I could earn the light, but you gave it without a fight. You